Hey everyone, my name is Omid Kamangar and I'm back with another video tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to use default parameters in JavaScript. So I have a very simple HTML5 document in VS Code. In the body I have a script tag which imports a JavaScript file called app.js. And app.js is blank for now. In Google Chrome, I have opened the index.html file and also opened the console tab. Imagine that we are writing a JavaScript web application and we want a centralized logging system. And the reason for that would be like we would be able to write logs to a file system or a network socket or anything like that. So I have an application class. And inside the application class, I have a static function called log. And log accepts two arguments, two parameters. One of them is the message that we want to log. And the other one is the log level. So we could log like info messages, debug messages, warnings, and other log levels. So for now, I'm going to keep it very simple for the sake of this video, and I'll just console log the message and the log level. In a real-world application, I would log to a file system maybe, or a network socket, and I would have a mechanism for disabling the log altogether. But here, I'll just console log the message and the log level. So console.log and first the log level and then the actual message. So if I reload the page and call application.log and the message would be hello world and the log level would be info. It's console logs info and colon, then hello world, and I spelled hello incorrectly. So if I omit the second argument, it will set it to undefined. In previous versions of JavaScript before ES2015, if I needed to have a default value for log level, this is how I would do it. This is like the pre-ES2015 version. So we would check for we would check to see if type of log level is undefined, and if it is undefined, we would set log level to, for example, info. So if I reload the page again and call application.log, and this time with the correct spelling of hello world, you can see that it has picked up info as the default value for log level. But if I specify a value for log level, say for example debug, you can see that it prints out debug and then the message that we have. So this works fine, but as you can see, it is very verbose. And if you have multiple arguments, multiple parameters, you need to have multiple checks here, which is very, very verbose. So with the addition of default parameters in ES2015, we can do this in a much cleaner way. So I'll get rid of these lines of code because I don't need them anymore. And all I need to do is provide the default value that I want in the function declaration. So in this case, I want to have info as the default value for log level. So log level equals info. If I reload the page and this time call application.log without specifying a log level, it will pick up info as the default log level and print out info for me. As you can see, this is much cleaner and much more convenient way of doing it. Two things that you need to be aware of when you are using default parameters. The first one is that if you specify a falsy value or null for a default parameter, it will not pick up the default value. Let me show you this by an example. So if I have application.log hello world, and then for log level I pass in null, it will pick up null as the value for log level and not info. Same is true if I provide a falsy value such as an empty string. Again, it will not pick up the default value. It will pick up the default value only if I don't provide a value for the parameter, or I provide undefined. Another thing that you need to be aware of is if you have other normal parameters after the default value parameter, you need to specify undefined explicitly for the default value. Again, let me show you this by an example. So if I want to maybe have the environment, application environment in the log level, so I have env, and this would be like production, staging, or development. If I want to have that env environment printed out in the log messages, and if I provide it after the default value parameter like this, see what happens. So let me print out the environment to a dash and env. So if I reload the page again, and this time I call application.log with the message, and then the environment, say production. Instead of setting the production for the environment variable, it is setting it for log level. And if I want to have the correct order and the correct assignment, I need to specify undefined explicitly. In this case, you can see that it says info production and then hello world. So this is another thing that you need to be aware of. Other than this, default value parameters are a very clean way of specifying default values for your function parameters. I hope you have enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.